Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of 40K What If. Now, we have a big what if here, excuse me, and this will tie into some future what ifs. Now, this one's hard for me, and I do have to say, normally when it comes to what ifs, I have a favorite scenario, or what I think is the most likely. In this case, I do not. This is a mystery. How did the Emperor of Mankind get the Void Dragon to Mars in the Middle Ages? Now, there has been speculation that there was a manipulation and this did not happen in the Middle Ages. Well, the legend happened in the Middle Ages. Fact. Therefore, one of two things. The Emperor had him on Earth until space travel became possible. That is a possibility. But come on, this is 40K. I'm sure there is a much more interesting fact. I'm sure. I am positive of it because, after all, now, as I said, I'm not married to any one idea, but we do know I am going to do soon, might be the next one. Matter of fact, probably should be my next one. A what if on the Ordo Chronos. Now, the Ordo Chronos vanished. They're gone. So, there will be a whole different speculations on what happened. Well, one of those paths is, what if they went back in time and talked to the Emperor and took orders from him? Now, there was also another plot line to that in my mind of to protect humanity, because you have a species like the Hrud that at time manipulate. Well, they maybe move throughout our timeline, protecting our timeline. And if that's the case, then they have heavily contact with the Emperor, and it is likely that the Emperor, even during the Middle Ages, had access to a starship. But that's only if that what if follows that one line. Now, we do know that the Emperor has a vast psychic presence. Eldar. Now, in reality, that would probably be our most likely. I don't like to be married to this one because it's Eldar. So, yes. You'll probably find you're going to notice when I start doing Xenos what ifs, they're probably not going to be as many because, they're Eldar. There's much more interesting things. But unfortunately, with his vast psychic presence and the fact that Magnus said that I was never truly lost, that tells me that, well, Big E could have talked to another big Eldar and arranged for transportation, because once more, the Eldar would never want the shard of the Void Dragon to fall back into the hands of the Catan. And at the time, Earth was middle age and a backwater planet. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. Well, sure, pop it over to Mars, get it away from the Mon-Keeg. Now, that's probably our most likely scenario, is that with his vast psychic presence throughout his life, the Emperor has probably had contact with Xeno species. Now, this is one thing that I'm really interested on a Big E return, is to get to some of these historical facts about the long life of Big E. They need to bring him back and bring him some sort of confidant character that only he wants to talk to, and he can call him Kitten if he likes. But this is the likeliest scenario. Now, there's also the possibility that Big E always had technology above and beyond. That's the thing about Big E is, we don't know how smart he was with technical things. After all, he had a ridiculous amount of time to learn things. You know, when you sit down and think about it, you know, we create knowledge and he can just pick it up as he goes. And with his psychic presence, you know, I'm sure that he probably drew things a bit to earth. I'm sure even in our time, I would say that Big E probably led a very interesting life. Because at a certain point of technology, and, you know, when we start putting out signals, that's when Big E's going to realize that we are in true danger from a Xenos. And he's going to want to know what's out there. So the question is did the Emperor make the first drives? Did the Emperor make the Men of Stone? You know, he's been out here manipulating for a long time. So I'm actually coming to the theory that man's early exploration was a machination of the Emperor. And we will be doing a what if on the Men of Gold, and we will be doing a what if on the Men of Stone. And I pretty much have the what if on the Men of Stone cemented out in my mind. And I think through it, I've gained a much better understanding of them. But, you know, that's the thing is, did Big E, because, you know, it is to Mars. And with the current materials, yeah, I could see him being the Wright brothers of spaceflight. In fact, maybe the UFOs right there out now are our Emperor. Of course, I mean that in jest. But you know, these are some ways that the Emperor could have got the Shard of the Void Dragon to Mars in the Middle Ages. Yeah, well, yeah, he could probably do it because thinking about it, you know, our typical phone has more computing power. I remember finding out my PlayStation 2 had more computing power than our first mission to the moon. So yeah, I could see where, you know, maybe Da Vinci had a teacher. Now, once again, that would be some really good lore to go back to flesh out Big E, is to do some ancient Big E novels. And, you know, get a little more attachment to the guy because, you know, there was a certain reverence for them. And I do have to say that the way they had to write the Horus Heresy novels in order for everything to come out, it kind of it makes it definitely takes the humanity out of them majorly. And at times you're like, are you stupid? So if there was some material that would show some of his life's experiences that made him this way, it would make him much more human and understandable as a character. And more entertaining. Now, once again, the dragon in Mars would be an excellent place for GW and the Black Library to start fleshing out the Emperor's ancient history. Because this is one of the big open things, and I think they could do wonderful things with it. Because you basically end up a real life fantasy novel using 40K, but it's not just some barbarian world that picked up magic from the warp. It's Earth. And once again, you can put in many other ties. As we know, there were other psychic beings. You know, the Emperor could have all sorts of adventures on trying to get rid of the Void Dragon. There's also a question is how did the Emperor defeat such a grand creature? The Emperor may have had help, once again, from the Eldar or maybe something sorcerous. Because, once again, the Emperor, you know, to throw out another quick one, he had to start dealing with the warp at some time. And we don't know when that was. So there's a possibility he did get warp aid to Mars. And that one I hate to throw in, but it is a possibility. Because at some time, to get the power he did to make the Primarchs, he did have to start playing kissy face with the Chaos Gods. Now the question was how was the kissy face? But obviously from what we have seen, this early date with Chaos did not go well for both sides. Now, we can see that they played kissy face all the way up until the time that the Primarchs were removed. But at some point, their relationship soured, as many relationships do. But those will be what ifs for another day. Now, put what you think in the comments below on how did the Emperor get the Void Dragon to Mars? And have a good day all.